Good morning. My name is Dan Reiki, and it is my joy and a privilege to welcome you with these words. No matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Tomorrow is Earth Day, and we are privileged to have someone talk about things that really connect with that. Troy is here. Troy Lambert from the city of Sioux Falls. He is an environmental analyst, and he will be sharing our meditation today. So a warm welcome to you, Troy. Glad that you're with us. Yesterday evening, I went to Spirit of Peace and saw a movie, Dirt, the movie. And it is a wonderful expose about Earth's dirt. And a number of people talked and shared information about what our human species has done to much of this dirt, and how many people are trying to revive the value of dirt around the world. So it was kind of a both and, one like, oh my goodness, and wow, a really fine movie. And I'm hoping that today we'll get some of that flavor of dirt to give us a sense of sustainability, which is the theme today. And I'd like you to look at our principle number 7 at the top of your bulletin. Respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. So again, a warm welcome to all of you this fine day, and it's a privilege to be with you. There are announcements in your bulletin, and I invite you to take a look at them. Please do. They are there for our edification. I want to make one little change, and that is that our Talent Sunday is not 2 months away. It is now 1 month away. And I was visiting with Carol, and we need you to let us know if you would like to share something that you would like to as a talent for that special Sunday, May the 19th. We have people that are going to be playing musical instruments. We have people who will be singing. We have others that will be sharing poetry. And we even have Jerry Fogg in the back who will be bringing a couple of his pieces. And he'll also explain that wonderful mural that we have in the back of the church, which I think would be really fun to know more about. So we're looking forward to a fun day on May 19th and hope that you will contribute and share your talents as well. Are there other announcements that need to be shared for the good of our assembly? If not, let us enjoy our prelude evening meal. Thank you, Carol. That was beautiful. As Minister Allen comes to help us with the lighting of our candle, I invite you to turn to page or number 438. 438. The readings today are going to be antiphonal. I'll give you a minute to find them because you will be responding with the italics reading, and I'll begin. Number 438, morning. From the east comes the sun, bringing a new and unspoiled day. It has passed over mountain ranges and the waters of the seven seas. It has beheld proud cities with gleaming towers. It has been witness to both good and evil, the works of honest men and women, and the conspiracy of knaves. Now, unsullied from its tireless journey, it comes to us, messenger of the morning. And what a great song to welcome us to this morning. Morning has broken. Please stand as you are able and sing number 38. Please be seated. Our first reading is number 478. Truly a confessional, a prayer of sorrow. We have forgotten who we are. We have alienated ourselves from the unfolding of the cosmos. We have sought only our own security. We have exploited simply for our own ends. We have distorted our knowledge. We have abused our power.
Now the land is barren, and the waters are poisoned, and the air is polluted.
Now the forests are dying, and the creatures are disappearing, and the humans are despairing.
We ask forgiveness. We ask for the gift of remembering. We ask for the strength to change.
We're privileged now to have a story for our children given by Allison Green. Thank you, Allison. Please come forward, children, and those young at heart.
One cold winter's morning, a huge glistening snowflake landed on Little Squirrel's nose. How wonderful, he said. Little Squirrel's brothers and sister gathered around. Let's throw it into the sky and see how far it floats, said Big Squirrel, flicking it gently with his tail. But it's my snowflake, whispered Little Squirrel. Let's hang it up and watch it sparkle, suggested Bigger Squirrel, attaching the snowflake to a branch. But it's my snowflake, replied Little Squirrel, a little louder this time. Let's bury it, said Biggest Squirrel, and see who finds it first. But it's mine, shouted Little Squirrel. Little Squirrel's family quickly disappeared. Later, Little Squirrel had an idea. He collected all the twigs he could find and with the huge glistening snowflake scampered up a tree. All day long he worked, piling up the twigs one on top of the other until he'd made a nest. That night, Little Squirrel sat alone in the neat nest with his snowflake. Mine, all mine, he said, and he went to sleep happy. The next day, when he woke up, Little Squirrel thought he could hear birds singing her song. He put his ear to the twig wall and tried to listen, but the wall was too thick and the sound was muffled. So he sat back down and stared at the snowflake. Instead, mine, all mine, he said to himself. In the afternoon, Little Squirrel noticed a crack in the twig wall. If he looked carefully, he could just see the others slipping and sliding in the snow. He wanted to join in, but he sat back down and looked at the snowflake instead. Mine, all mine, Little Squirrel sighed, feeling just a tiny bit sad. He missed his family. Later on, Little Squirrel was hungry. He was sure everyone would be enjoying a feast, sharing all the food they had gathered throughout the day. Little Squirrel called out to them, but no one answered. Perhaps they have forgotten all about me and my snowflake, he thought. Little Squirrel looked around his nest and then, with a 1, 2, 3, he gave the twigs a mighty push. As the nest broke open, the snowflake floated down. Landing on the snowy forest floor, the snowflake started to roll, getting bigger and bigger and faster as it rolled toward his family at the bottom of the hill. Watch out, shouted Little Squirrel. And then, I'm sorry. What happened? Can you tell them so that they can't see the pictures? The snowball broke open. And now what do you see? Lots of snowflakes. Ours, all ours? Asked Bigger, and Biggest Squirrel. Ours, all ours, agreed the Little Squirrel, and he hopped down from the tree to join the fun. The end.
Thank you, Allison. Let's sing our children out. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. This is a special time in our service where everyone can participate with a joy or a sorrow. And so we ask you to come and just possibly stand along this side or this side so that we keep our time as short as possible, but give everyone a chance to share that joy or concern. We'll take a stone from this little pot, warm it up with our hands, share our story or our concern, and then put it into the water. So this is our special time of sharing. So please come as you wish.
Ian Happy, my wife Jennifer Tablet is here, and I love the fact that we're doing love yet today. And she and I are still together and all that good stuff, and I love her. And the other thing I wanted to say is I want to send some thoughts and prayers to my roommate as he has had some good things said about his neurology exam, and those went well and stuff, and I hope that all the rest of the days go well for her.
Yeah, it's on.
Now is it on? All right, thank you. So my wife is not able to be here. Janine is caring for Dory Thompson, Paul's mother, while Paul and Joy are away. But I'm happy to be in love with her still too. And it's our 5th anniversary on Saturday, so
All
looking
right.
forward to that.
All right, that's good.
Hi, I'm Steve. I have several joys here. Some of you know my wife had ankle surgery 2 months ago. Friday, her boot came off, and she can now drive and go back to work. Yes, I've talked to you about my friend Karen, who I'm wearing the shirt for. Her pancreatic cancer is responding well, and her last chemo should be in May, and then surgery. So happy about that. And then a final joy and concern, my brother-in-law Harland, he had hit an elk on his motorcycle at 60 miles an hour. Broke a whole lot of bones. His only weight-bearing limb right now is his left elbow.
Ouch.
So he's going to be in inpatient rehab until at least July. And his goal is to start walking by July. But my joy is he's alive, no brain injuries, no spinal cord injuries.
Wow, crazy. Donor machines.
It seems, Chuck here, it seems like the old crew likes to share. A lot of us share every week that we come. And I wanted to share that a dear friend is getting sober after being out drinking hard for 3 years. And it really touches me. The other thing is I'm getting a couple of hearing aids. I guess I am getting old. This didn't stop me, though. And pretty soon my new book will come out. And maybe John will let me read a few poems instead of show my photographs. I'm really an amateur photographer and a professional poet.
we'll put another stone in the water today and ask you, and during a time of silent reflection, to take again a good look at that principle number 7 as we prepare for our speaker today, is sustainability. So let us have a moment of reflection. Let us sing our second song, number 207, Earth Was Given as a Garden. Stand if you are. Our second reading is number 465, The Wisdom to Survive. If we will have the wisdom to survive, to stand like slow-growing trees on a ruined place, if we will make our seasons welcome here, asking not too much of earth or heaven, their houses strongly placed upon the valley sides, and over it bird song like a canopy. On the steeps where greed and ignorance cut down the old forests, The veins of forgotten springs will have opened. Families will be singing in the fields. They will take nothing from the ground, they will not return, whatever the grief at parting. The abundance of this place, the songs of its people and its birds, will be health and wisdom and indwelling light. Worth and power of the loyalties which it engenders. Thank you. You were right on with me, and I love you for that. Stop when you see the period, Dan. But those thoughts actually did tie well together, didn't they? All right. Well, it is a joy now to have Troy Lambert share with us on the theme sustainability. Troy, welcome to the podium.
Are we good? Good? Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you for inviting me out to your congregation for this Sunday before Earth Day. I hope my little presentation here will share with you the great joys that we are providing for the sustainable future of our fine city here in Sioux Falls. So, as many of you are aware, we have this word called sustainability. But what is sustainability? It is a word that has a lot of connotations, a lot of meanings, a lot of different meanings to a lot of different people. So our purpose when we are talking about sustainability as far as the city of Sioux Falls goes, our definition that we look into is to pursue sustainability means to create conditions under which people and nature can productively coexist and support each other. Something you have seen on your bulletin today is our 3 P's of sustainability. They are planet, people, and prosperity. The well-being of our people and a prosperous economy depend on a healthy environment. Why is sustainability important, we ask? Well, this is why. As you can tell, these are some photos, not necessarily all from here, but actually 3 of them are. Rising heat, major issue. This was a picture from last year with the Canadian wildfire smoke. Another issue to bring to light. Obviously flooding, the 57th Street underpass there on 229 in 2019. And then times of drought and low water, Big Sioux River downtown last year, I believe. So, when it comes to sustainability in Sioux Falls, we put this framework together over the last few years, kind of built off of a sustainability master plan that we put forth initially in 2012, and we have been working to update that framework in the time since. But going through this mission to build sustainability within our community, we wanted to come up with our vision of it and the mission that we want this framework to support. So as you can see, the vision is to be a thriving community today and for future generations by strengthening community well-being, protecting the environment, and supporting economic prosperity. So kind of revisiting those 3 Ps from earlier. We just wanted to make it a little more personal to Sioux Falls and our community. And the mission, the city of Sioux Falls leads the way toward a sustainable present and future through meaningful collaboration with the community. So obviously we want to make sure that we are supporting everyone in our community, and we want to make sure that we're all on the same page and going for the same goals. So part of key parts of the framework that we put together, as you can see up here, we have the natural systems, obviously earth, water, air, all those. We have community vitality and sustainable living, so how our community coexists with each other. Then we have material management and waste. Obviously, we're all human. We generate waste. Where does that waste go, and how can we generate less of it? How can we make sure that waste potentially gets repurposed or reused? Energy and buildings. So energy efficiency, how can we manage our resources more productively, get the most out of the energy that we consume. And then transportation and land use. How can we best use our land for both looking at our prosperity as our community and the health of our environment. So a few more pictures that kind of represent those keywords there. We have our bike trail, community building around our recreational areas of Sioux Falls. And we have a nice example of some solar panels being installed on a roof there. We have our farmers market down at Falls Park, as well as some renewable energy. That's also key when you're talking to be living a more sustainable life. So, touching on the key principles, natural systems. Obviously, our main one here in Sioux Falls is the Big Sioux River. We cherish it, as everyone in the community should, and we protect it. And as far as the city goes, that is our #1 objective, especially in our office, is to maintain our Big Sioux River, because this water obviously is not unlimited, and we need to protect what we have. And we also need to protect it for future generations and for the people that are downstream of us, right? So for that example, on the left there, we have an active construction site. It might be familiar to you. This is the old Sioux Steel site. And a large portion of my work is working with construction sites, managing their soil, their dirt, making sure that it's not getting washed off into our lakes, into our rivers. So that's an example of one of the sites where we're actively managing, ensure they're not impacting the Big Sioux River. We also have a fleet of stormwater collection staff that make sure if there is issues with our storm sewer, material, anything like that, after heavy rains get in there, that they're getting that cleaned out before it is allowed to wash into our lake or into our rivers and our ponds. And finally, is the last one. This is an example of a construction site last year where they may not have been protecting the water as best as they should, as you can obviously see there. But we were able to quickly address that issue within our office and got it resolved. So that's a lot about what I do. But as far as a community, it's equally important on our members. So we do a lot of community outreach programming. One of that on the top left, you may have seen this on some news stories recently, is our Inlet Art Painting Project, where we reach out to local artists, mainly in the school system, where they can design artwork to be placed on our storm inlets, mainly in the downtown area, around parks where they're highly visible, with a message about water quality and the impacts that polluting the water may have on the community. Another one is our message that you'll also see both on the right there, the only rain to the storm drain message. Obviously, anything that goes in the storm drains around Sioux Falls will eventually get into our ponds and into our Big Sioux River. So we want to make sure we're keeping it only rain down the drain. And then on the left there is the Sioux Empire Water Festival that we participate in every year, where we have about 500 fourth graders come through the doors and learn about water quality in various aspects. So we enjoy participating in those kind of community events as well. Two major ones, one that just concluded yesterday that we promote as the City of Sioux Falls, is the Greenway Cleanup, where yesterday we had probably about 400 to 500 volunteers go out to the Greenway Trail system around Sioux Falls and pick up garbage that is blown into the trees and various other places over the winter months. So more to come on that. We'll have a news release about how many pounds of garbage we removed, but it's unfortunately always alarming how much garbage gets into our natural spaces, unfortunately. So On the bottom there is our Big Sioux River Sustainability Summit. So that's a one-day conference that we host usually in December of every year, where we bring in professionals both on water quality and sustainability topics, where they talk about what's going on currently within the areas of focus, and what's potentially what the community as a whole can do to move forward with living a more sustainable and protecting our water quality. Community vitality, couple notes there. We do participate with a lot of Parks and Rec programs, Plant a Tree Days, Arbor Day. Community gardens are a big push that we are trying to get more of in our community. And then also we table at various events like the home show and kind of educate residents on how they can modify or add existing things to their homes to make them more energy efficient. Land use, briefly, how are we using the land to the best of its ability? So obviously we have our parks like Falls Park. We want to make sure we're keeping our parks clean, or we want to make sure we're keeping our parks, maintaining that green space so everyone in the community has an area where they can go and enjoy. We have stormwater areas. Obviously you're probably familiar with all the ponds around Sioux Falls that aid in stormwater management. This one on the bottom right here is actually a newer one that we built in the last couple years on the corner of 33rd and Colville, where we've had a lot of flooding issues for the residents in that area. So this is green infrastructure where it'll actually take a lot of that stormwater, hold it for a brief amount of time, but it'll also allow it to convey and filter out that water to make it a little cleaner as well. And then on the left there is Phillips Avenue, right by Falls Park. Kind of shows how we can coexist amongst all various forms of travel. Narrower streets slows the vehicle traffic down. Obviously there's still parking for vehicles, but there's also ample room for pedestrian walking along the sidewalk and the buildings there. So just kind of looking at those designs on how we can better build our communities to be a little more sustainable. Clean transportation. We have the Sioux Area Metro. That's a valuable resource. And it's with some of their new programming, it's becoming more available to a lot of residents. So hopefully that continues, and the people and our residents continue to use that valuable resource. Trying to push biking and other modes of transportation besides the vehicle forward. So we're promoting, bike lanes and sharrows and various things for active transportation along our roadways as much as we can. And then finally, electrical vehicles. They are becoming ever more common, and this was actually our first city-owned electrical vehicle down here that's currently being used by our health department. And finally, waste and recycling. This is probably the most important one, the one that touches all of us every day. Question, where does our waste go? Well, it goes to our landfill, which is just outside west of the town. You can see that we generate a lot of garbage. Best estimate is about 100 pounds, 100 trucks, garbage trucks a day visit our landfill. Now that's from the 5-county area around Sioux Falls. So we have a regional landfill, but nonetheless a lot of garbage. Approximately 500 million pounds each year is generated and disposed of at our landfill, and that's equivalent to about 20,000 school buses as far as tonnages go, so a lot. What we're doing, last year we brought in a consultant to analyze our garbage, and it sounds exactly what it is. They dug through the garbage to figure out what was all in our garbage. Not a great job, I'm sure, but an important one nonetheless. And kind of divided it into various categories to see what we could potentially remove from the waste stream, potentially recycle it, or otherwise find a different use for it that would not end up in the landfill. So what it came down to is there was approximately 20% of the waste was recyclable, and 20% was food waste, so the organics that could potentially be reused or repurposed into compost. Now both of them obviously add to greenhouse gas emissions when they break down, or when they're generated, cost money to make new products versus potentially saving a little of that cost if you're recycling it. And then wasted resources, where you're using new resources to make a new product versus using some products or reusing some products that could potentially save, well, would save the raw resources. So that brings us to recycling. How can we recycle better in Sioux Falls? Probably very familiar with this. If you live in Sioux Falls, the surrounding areas, we have single messaging where all the haulers, no matter who you have, kind of use the same messaging where this is what we can recycle, this is what we can't recycle. I know it's a little small, but you've probably seen this guide around. Biggest issue that we're seeing right now and we're educating residents on are plastic bags. Plastic bags are not something we want to put in the recycling. I know there was a time where we'd accept plastic bags, all together in the recycling bin. That still proved difficult for our end user, our recycling facilities, where those bags would get caught in their machinery and basically stop the whole process. So wasting a lot of time and wasting a lot of potential reusable products. So we want to make sure we're removing those plastic bags from the waste stream. Also, we want to keep hazardous waste and batteries, electronics, household chemicals, paints, cleaners. We want to make sure those are getting to our household hazardous waste facility for free recycling and disposal. We don't want any stringy items like hoses or string, ropes, anything like that. That does not belong in your recycling bin. And unfortunately, diapers and medical waste, as many people should know, that's not something that can be recycled, but it is very common in the recycling stream that we see those items. So we definitely don't want to put that type of material in the recycling bin. Metal and car parts, plants, food waste, plastic toys, you name it, we see it all. All items that we don't want to see in there. A lot of people, you may have heard the term wish cycling. They think, oh, it's plastic, it's made of plastic, so it's recyclable. Well, unfortunately, in most cases, just because it's made of plastic doesn't necessarily mean it's recyclable here in town. It might be recyclable somewhere, but unfortunately, we have to stick to the very tubs, jugs, various things like that we have, around our home. How are we doing on time? Okay. All right. Well, perfect. We'll end with this This is an educational video from our friends at Millennium Recycling, which generate process all the recycling in town. It's kind of a cool process to see what their process is like. So maybe. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, fortunately, doesn't look like the video is going to play, but yep. Anyway, that's basically what I have. Just wanted to share what we're doing as a city to promote sustainability and what you as residents can do to do the same thing at your home. So, thank you for your time, and I hope you gathered some knowledge today. I'll be around for questions later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Troy. That was most informing. That video, we may be able, if you can bring it up later when we gather in a group, maybe there will be interest in seeing it then, so maybe keep that in mind for our discussion. So thank you very much. Very nice. Well, we're going to ask Carol to put us in a lovely mood here for our offering today. If you have looked at the program, a lovely mood, as we share our gifts. And 50%, half of what we give today, will be supporting Banquet West. So please give as you feel led. Time for our third song, Mother of All, number 91. Please stand as you are able. Please. Before we extinguish our candle, we invite you to go down after our service to Eliza's Kitchen and enjoy some treats. And then please do come up at about 11:20 or so, even 11:15 I think today would be fine. And we'll gather the chairs and we can ask discussions and maybe even see this video that Troy may be able to show us at that time. So thank you again for being here. Please read with me the words as we extinguish the candle. The chalice is extinguished, but the light goes with us out into the world.